We're using Cursor today. Cursor.com. I think you get a free trial. Outside of that, it's like $20 a month. And we're gonna dive in. Before I get started, Scotty, I'm an archer. Any comments?
Not at all. I'll let the master get into things.
Sweet. Cool. All right. So the way that I personally like to do things is I like to create an implementation plan. So this is basically a document, a plan that you create a document here in Cursor, where the AI is going to create a document for you, almost kind of like a PRD or product requirements doc that we will follow in phases, one by one. Okay. And so I'm just gonna start to write out the requirements, and like you'll see, like it's like very relaxed. I'm gonna misspell stuff. The grammar is gonna be poor, but it'll be smart enough. Okay. So I would like
I had an idea for you too. I was actually doing this while you were setting up. I think maybe it would also be good to kind of discuss what we want to build. I don't know if that's what you're setting up here.
Yes.
I actually pinged something in the private chat. That might actually be a pretty easy implementation. But also we could use the IP from Newt. I don't know if Archer, you have any assets on hand, but I was thinking like just a simple rock, paper, scissors variant. And we could call it like rock, paper, flipper, or I don't know, something Newt inspired. But maybe we could create a game from that.
Yeah, I'll see if I can ping you guys some assets over on Telegram. Give me 2 seconds.
Is that like how do you feel about us doing that in like 45 minutes?
I think that actually is possible to do in 45 minutes.
Okay. Should we
here, let me send you something here.
Should we get to do you think we should get to a V1 of this like transfer tokens thing and then tackle the rock, paper, scissors? Like, is there going to be shared code?
I think we do. I think what we do is we do login with abstract, and then we create the game, and then we do the Newt payment. I think that's probably the process, because the very first thing out of every app that you need is login. You need a way to connect your wallet and log in.
And am I competing with the computer or like with AI?
Yes, it'd be against AI. Are you recording or no?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Brilliant. I'd love to share this around after.
Yeah, so I think it could be PvP, but let's just do AI. It'll be against a random AI at first. It'll be like the Newt boss. I don't know. Archer can come up with something.
Well, let me ask you here. So if the player loses, obviously they lose their Newt. If they win, what happens? They
get more Newt.
Well, where's that Newt coming from?
From us. Well, this is a proof of concept. Obviously, the game mechanics can change. I guess the point is, if you were to create a PvP, it would be from the other player.
Sure.
And we would take a commission, whoever created the game. If it was a battle royale, everyone would enter Newt, and it would be more like, the last standing would end up getting the pot. Obviously, there's different game mechanics. I don't think we don't need to focus on that part. I think if we get it to the point where we have the login plus the game mechanic plus the person paying Newt to just start the game into some deposit address, we've kind of already done 90% of the work. The last 10% is figuring out how to do the payment distribution once the game completes.
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, 40 minutes to build all of that is like that. I mean, we can see how far we can get.
I think we can do it. I think we can do it because rock, paper, scissors is pretty easy mechanic. I think we can do it.
Are the bear steps cracked or not?
Yeah, are we cracked? We can do it totally. We got it, dude. We got it. We just need a couple assets, and I think we can get the game mechanics pretty good.
No, we don't even need assets. We'll just use emojis.
We could, yeah. We can use emojis.
Paper, actually a rock, a paper and actual scissors. Done.
I actually sent you a prompt that you could probably feed into Cursor as well. So I went into my thing that I did behind the scenes while Tolly was talking was I went into ChatGPT 01 and I basically said, I want to create a Newt variation of rock, paper, scissors with the IP, and what would a good game look like for that? And then it gave me this concept called Newt Wars, rock, paper, flipper. And then it also said something like you could reimagine it with a Pengu-inspired memified action where Newt is rock, Splat is paper, and Waddle is scissors. I know. So basically, it even gave me ideas on what we could call these things.
Got it.
But this here, and then what I told it was, okay, add in some blockchain aspects. Specifically, I asked it to do some certain things with payments, and then I said generate a prompt that I can feed into Cursor or into another AI platform to generate an implementation plan. So that's what you got here. So I basically gave you the prompt that will create the implementation plan.
Got it. Okay, cool. So I pasted in. I'm actually going to modify this.
Yeah, you can make it a little bit easier if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to do just rock, paper, scissors instead of the other one.
So it knows what it's doing.
Featuring.
You can remove multiplayer there, so it doesn't complicate it. Yeah, that's good. Yep.
Okay, elements, create that. Players choose between 3 actions.
Get rid of that, yeah.
Single player.
Against an AI.
Player versus computer. Each battle triggers a result, win, loss, draw. Okay. On-chain match results.
We don't need to do that.
Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of battle history.
We'll do the basic NOOT token integration. Yep.
Okay. Get rid of that.
Yep, that's for later. That's
Do
also
we
for
need
later.
the tiebreaker? No, probably not.
That's for later.
Okay, tech stack preferences. Do we want to use these preferences?
Yes, that looks good. You can probably remove the wallet login because we'll do the abstract global wallet implementation.
Cool.
So
I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to add a documentation here.
Yep.
For AGW. So I'm going to go over to.
That's a good move.
Let's go to AGW documentation. And so what you can do, abstract global wallet. What you can do is you can actually copy the link to this documentation here and add it as a doc within Cursor. It'll automatically
we'll parse it and read it for
index
you.
everything. Yeah, and you could double check that. If you click on this, it's indexed 42 pages. Great. So now what we can do is we can say AGW with
AGW.
At,
not AWG. Might get confused.
oh, right. Abstract AGW. Okay. No smart contract.
Do it without Rainbow Kit. Do just basic. I don't know if you. Yeah.
Rainbow Kit. Use the plain one. And just for people wondering, Rainbow Kit is it's more complex, it's more robust. You can do MetaMask and Phantom, but we don't want to do that. We just want to use just a straight abstract.
Yep.
If you're not using abstract, fuck off.
Agreed.
Okay. Database. We don't want to have a database.
Let's keep it in memory for now. Yeah. So like a real implementation with more time, you'd probably want to have a database so you could persist everything, but we'll just do it locally.
Okay, cool.
But put like actually no, you don't need to. Yeah, locally stored data is fine. Yeah. You could do not in JSON, do in local storage.
Okay. Cool.
Or IndexedDB.
Yeah, just a simple like you connect. Every time you get ready to play, right? It's maybe it's best 2 out of 3. And you can gamble a certain amount, right? So 5, and then you have to go to HW, approve 5, right? NOOT tokens, and then if
exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, again, okay.
I would say let's with the wallet login, let's and again, some of the stuff that we're going to call out here library wise is you'll gain from experience. So put go back to the wallet login, add in another line that says to use VM, VIEM, yeah. And so VM is probably the most popular Web3 integration library for TypeScript, JavaScript. There's also Ethers, which has been around for quite a few years, and it has a new version. VM has probably come about the last year or 2. I use this pretty much daily, so I would say for this it makes sense. There's also WAGME. You should probably put that in there too. Use VM and WAGME. So WAGME is specifically for React, which is a front-end library. Now, most people don't need to worry about that for vibe coding. Like, it will just make this stuff for you. But, we'll teach you a little bit along the way too here.
Okay, all art will be using emoji. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm asking it to create a step-by-step phased development plan, which will execute one by one, very simply. and I'm asking them, asking to phase each one out so that every time it completes, we have something new to play with and look at. That's important. That's important for everybody watching, for people building, so you can like build stuff and get, immediate feedback. That's going to motivate you.
Yeah, I think the one thing to learn when you're doing vibe coding is that you need to test pretty much every step, because it is very possible to maybe do too much at one go, and then you kind of lose track of where you are with the build. That can happen quite often. I mean, we're probably not going to get into GitHub here, are we? Yeah, we probably shouldn't. That might be a bit too much.
I mean, I can just, well, I've already got GitHub connected. I'll just go ahead and just create
Save
something.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, let's actually, I'm going to go into ask mode before it does anything. Review this and ask me any required questions. Enter planning mode. Okay, so while that's working, I'm going to show you what that is. Abstract or cursor has something called cursor rules. If you go to rules, cursor settings and rules, you can set rules that apply globally across every project. Okay, and so here there's something called planner mode, which will ask clarifying questions and then draft a plan of action and ask for approval. Okay. There's also something called project rules, which is for every single project, you can specify just more detailed rules for it to follow. And this is important. If you go to GitHub and look up cursor rules, there's plenty of repositories you can use as an example there, but this like really helps it to just be smarter and have strong boundaries. Okay. All right. So I'll help you play the Newt Wars game. Okay. What happens when a player wins? On lose, we take their Newt. On win, we didn't complete the statement. They win. Yeah. See, this will get like a bit more complicated, but we'll see if we can do it.
Well, I think we leave it out. We'll leave it out because we don't need to necessarily send. I mean, we don't need to send them Newt. Yeah.
Pretend you are giving them.
Just give them XP. Give them no. Yeah, I would say even just give them XP. It's like they're paying and they're getting XP. In the real version, we'd send them Newt because they won. But let's give them like, 100 XP.
So if we're not giving them on win, should we not be taking on lose?
No, we should. I wanna take their Newt.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this is just for internal testing, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And so, how will players acquire their initial NOOT tokens? They already have it in their wallet. Okay. They will have to approve the spend. Matches are best of three, and start after setting the wager.
Yeah.
Do you want social features? Not yet. Should the game have progression? No. Do you plan to have special mechanics? Not yet.
Yeah, I think all this stuff we can add later.
Yep.
Get the core gameplay first, and then you can add in all the cool features.
Yes, exactly. And so I'm using Claude 3.7 Sonnet Max with thinking, which is basically, it's maxed out on as good as it can get with its brain. And I've got thinking on, so it'll actually think about the problem first. All right. So now what we're going to do is because I'm lazy and just to show off what you can do, I'm going to ask it to create an implementation plan doc and add this in there. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Saving like the markdown file for the plan, so you can refer to it.
Right. That's important because I'm going to create a new chat after this, and for every oh shit, 10,000 Newt. Let's go. We got to play with
10,000 Newt.
Is that 100,000?
Wait, I can't even see the chat.
Yeah, 10,000 Newt. Let's go.
$130 to my man Tolly.
Let's go.
Rich.
Well, this is all going towards the game. So if we have time, maybe we'll go over. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll.
Archer, you got a good Newt honk in you or what? Have you been practicing?
Oh, bro, like when we hit 100 million, I'll do an insane Newt honk. All right, like the most aggressive one you ever heard. But just give me some time.
All right, I'll let you warm up.
Okay, you could do one though. You're welcome to.
Nah, man, I'm leaving that to you. Oh,
Come
yeah,
on,
you-
I'm putting the pressure on you now, Scotty. Come on.
No, man, I'm in think mode here. You know, I got to concentrate. I'm
You're
vibing.
changing the
I'm
subject.
vibing.
Simple
I'll have
design.
someone do a note eventually.
Yeah, I would say, you know, and as Totally going through this, I'd say, you know, we've obviously been doing this for quite some time. So there's some things that we do here that you'll learn as you do this more. Like you're not gonna create these prompts magically day one. I think you get actually pretty close. You'd be surprised how close you can get to what we have here after just an hour or two. But yeah, there's some things that we've obviously learned along the way to kind of, you know, make things run a bit smoother, and we'll share that. I don't know if are we gonna put like any of this. I guess it's in a recording so people can watch it, but are we gonna set up a repo or anything for the Newt hackathon
Oh, yeah.
that has
Let's create a public repository called
yeah
Newt Wars. Okay.
yeah
Oh, what? Wait. What did I just do? What happened? Oh, oops. Let me go back to that chat. Here it is. Okay, cool. So I already have GitHub connected here. And we'll see. Yeah, so it'll automatically create the, you know, public repository. People can, you know, can play with this after we're done, you know, build on top of it.
yeah. And so GitHub is what they call version control when you're coding. So when you're coding, obviously you're not going to finish everything in one day, so you need to save it somewhere. You can save it locally on your computer, that's fine. But if you ever want to share it or have it exposed publicly, or maybe you want to work with other people on a team, you're going to want to use version control system like GitHub. So what you'll see here is it'll create a GitHub repository, and maybe you should go to GitHub. So I would sign up for GitHub. That's like almost maybe step one. And you'll start pushing your code there, and it'll be visible for anyone that's on your team and yourself. And it's also how you put changes in. So if you're working independently with someone, Totally can make a change. Then maybe, you know, the second day I'll make a change. I'll create like a pull request. Oh, actually, I won't go into all that. But yeah, version control is very important eventually. Maybe not just to start out, but in the long term, it's going to be beneficial to kind of have that stuff.
Okay, perfect. All right, so what I'm going to do, so Scotty, so in our, all right, so GitHub was done, right? So it got published over here, GitHub, totally bear newtwars.git.
Nice.
We'll share it later.
Yep.
So question for you. So this told us to use React and Tailwind.
Mhm.
And also I saw something else, React and Tailwind. Yes. Oh,
Yep.
with Vite, right? So
V.
right. So
Yeah, so V is so like you again, a lot of the libraries it will just pick out for you. So React is a common front end library. Tailwind is a styling library on the front end. Vite is a package, a building, a building package, or I don't know what you call this, like a I don't know.
yeah, like
Code
package
builder,
builder or something.
code compiler.
Right.
There's also Webpack, which is very popular, but Vite is kind of like the fastest out there at the moment, I do believe. I don't even think you will need to specify this stuff. It will just kind of tell you to use that. But
Yeah.
if you don't have it, I would say add React, Vite, all these kind of buzzwords.
Yeah.
You'll
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, cool. So what I'm doing right now, by the way, is you know, I have an extension installed. It's called Cursor Rules, which just has a, you know, library of a ton of rules you can pull from. And so
Nice.
if you know the tech stack that you're going to be using, you can add some rules, right? So I noticed that we're using React and Tailwind. And so I'm going to React, Next.js, Next.js, React, and Tailwind. Does that look right, Scotty?
So we're not using Next.js. I mean, we
No?
can. We might as I mean, for a more robust game that has a back end and a front end, you probably do want Next.js
Okay.
for simplicity's sake.
Okay.
I think for this we
I'll just you know, do this prompt file. We're not going to be using Firebase, but this will, right? So this just added some cursor rules for us. You know, best practices, you know, high quality mobile first, you know, UI, UX, etc. So what I'm going to
I would remove the Firebase stuff though, because that might mess things up for you, to be honest.
Okay, we can do that. Firebase.
Yeah, I would just get rid of that part of the prompt.
Okay, boom. All right, and so, yeah, so I'm basically going to put this into UI rules.
Nice.
Move.
I actually haven't actually used the rule stuff much. I would say I will, because it looks like it's be very, very good.
Okay. No, I'm just gonna make sure. All right. So as you guys can see, there's like, a bit more advanced kind of vibe coding is you do a lot of setup and preparation, right? You get ready for success, right? If you like spend 80% of your time preparing and like what to choose and do, like you're just going to be able to move much faster, with the other 20% of the time. But if you don't know what you're doing, that's fine, right? The AI will make decisions for you. That's all good. So let's save this. Okay. We have let's close this. Boom. All right. So let's get started. So let me open up our implementation plan. Phase 1, project setup. We're going to initialize the project, get the CSS going, and set up the project structure and routing. All right. So I'm simply going to say, let's start with phase 1. Cool. So while this is, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to mention, I would say that the process that you're doing here, showing here, is actually maybe a more advanced version of vibe coding, just in general, because you have all the rules, you have cursor and the IDE.
Yes, for sure.
I think maybe there could be another session that you want to host, Archer, that's around V0, which is a much more beginner-friendly approach where you don't need to specify libraries and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
So we could probably do another session for that, maybe.
Yep.
So that's amazing.
This is, like this mode is like even what I use as a developer, like this is like a good hybrid developer / vibe code.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask a question, like how long realistically do you think it does take with vibe coding to build a fully functional Newt game that could be on the portal?
On the portal is tougher.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because they have a bunch of their own requirements, like, the abstract team needs to vet it and all that kind of stuff. But I think you can get a playable game with on-chain interactions within a couple of days.
Seriously?
And oh yeah.
Wow.
I think that's definitely doable. I mean, if you look at what we did with Bearish and the Bearish fam did, I mean, we had
Can I pause you for a
45.
sec?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I've been running into this issue lately, where it'll fuck up the structure quite a bit, right? So you see it, created Newt Wars, public and source, and then within Newt Wars, it started to create a new one, right? And so one thing that we forgot to do is actually to create a directory structure. So I'm actually going to restore the checkpoint, which will go back.
Yeah, reset it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And I'm actually gonna delete a lot of this stuff here because it just.
Yeah, I would delete all that. I think what happened is, well, one, I don't see. Yeah, you probably want to give it a source folder or like tell it to use the root folder as the primary folder.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always use the root folder as the primary folder, and it's possible that.
And also, by the way, if it does do that, where it creates a subfolder, you can just move everything, like quite literally, just drag it into the parent next time.
Okay, perfect.
But this is actually better. Yeah, it's better. It's better if you let it, or if you give it the proper folder structure.
Cool. All right, so now that's in there. So let's try this again. Move forward with phase 1 of the implementation plan. Okay. Let's send.
Yeah, so Archer, just to finish what we were saying about the projects from Bearish, in our sprint, we had 45 games or apps built. I would say at least half of them actually, with a little bit more work and maybe a little bit more blockchain integration, they could have been something that we feature on the portal through Bearish, right? So
Amazing.
like there's still a step here with what we built out of Bearish where it's like there could be a couple weeks where we pick a couple of these projects that were built, they give us the code so I can actually review it. So there's still kind of this dev piece that needs to be there where I review it and then we can add it to our website and then the Bearish team will bring it to the abstract team to kind of promote it. So there's a life cycle there that needs to happen, and it's not short. Like that could be a couple weeks, right? But from a simple game implementation, that's very possible to be on the portal. I think you could build that in a couple days, like just from what I've seen.
Question, Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, this is using TypeScript. Is that okay?
Yeah. Let's use TypeScript. I would say nowadays you don't want to use. I mean, you can use JavaScript. JavaScript and TypeScript are basically the same thing. Just TypeScript has a bit more what they call type safety, which for most developers is important, but for vibe coding, not so important.
Okay, so what it's doing right now is phase one. It's just doing the basic project setup. Creating game components, choice buttons, etc. We should probably even have something to look at after this.
Hopefully it gives us like a. Oh, did you only do phase 1 of 1 or one task of phase 1, or did you do all the tasks?
Yes, I'm doing all of phase 1 here. I guess.
Yeah, so let's see if it one shots it. So there's a good chance with the way that Tolly has set up all the rules and the implementation plan that this can actually get a good one shot app made. Honestly, so we'll see.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So there's the index.html, which is the entry point file, but this is all JavaScript, TypeScript based. So. Yeah, this will be fun to see if this gets it in a one shot.
Yeah.
I think 37 Sonnet Max is pretty good. Like I think it usually can one shot this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And also a Gemini 2.5 Pro is actually really good too. But it's so funny, like the different personalities they have. I mean, consistently Claude is always just the best personality, just the best feeling. Once you really start to use these different models, like you really feel how different they are.
Yeah, that's true.
It's funny. They literally have different personalities.
And you'll see here, like, we probably did 20 minutes of setup here, about maybe 15. And hopefully this one shots it, but you'll see that it took, 5 minutes to basically get to the game part. Yeah. So like, it's like a pretty interesting ratio where you'll see how important planning actually is compared to the actual writing of the code part.
Right. Yeah, the more you can plan ahead of time and run your plan by AI, right? Drop it into Claude or ChatGPT. Be like, hey, this is my plan. Do you have any other suggestions, questions for how to refine this even more? Right. Like the more direction you give, that's just the better, it just gets better, smarter. It knows what you want. Otherwise it has to guess, fill in the gaps, which opens up the door to hallucination, which is, exactly.
The other thing that we didn't show here, and I would actually suggest if it's possible, is to see if there are other open source games that exist that you're trying to implement. So maybe let's say you wanted to replicate that 3D airplane game that had become popular on Twitter, but you wanted to add Newt IP where maybe the plane was the Newt flying around or something. I don't know, something crazy.
Right.
You could go to these other GitHub projects, copy the code, and actually use them as a reference in your code. That way, the AI knows even more so what it should be doing. We didn't show that here, but we could have probably went to Google, right, or used Perplexity and been like, can you share with me an open source React Tailwind rock paper scissors game? And we could have just used that as a reference.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that would have been a good idea.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. We're doing it from scratch.
It's all good. Okay. So what happened is this launched the site, but it's not loading, right? There's nothing happening here. So I went over into the console, right? If you right click and inspect, you go over to the console and I'm copying the error, just copying the error. I don't even know what the error is. And I'm going to say, I created a new chat And I'm going to say we launched our app, but it is not loading. Here's the error we got. And then I have in my cursor rules, the user rules, something called debugger mode. And so it'll think about 6 potential problems, and narrow it down to 2, and then tackle those, right? So, that's what I'm doing here. Okay. So reflecting on 5 to 7 different possible sources of the problem, and it's just thinking right now before it's actually executing. Most likely sources, boom. So now it's checking the files and seeing what what it could have done.
I think it's the Vite config because it doesn't exist. I don't know why I didn't create that. Doesn't make sense.
I want to ask a really quick question about how to get into the bearish community as well, if you wouldn't mind. So I buy my bear. What are the best steps that I can take to really get into your community?
Very easy. Just pop into the Discord.
Yeah.
Discord.gg/bearish. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, discord.gg/bearish.
Yeah, pop in the Discord, say hello, drop your bear in there, and then we'll raid the shit out of it, like we do.
As you did. I think I got 300 replies on my post. I was like, holy shit. I got 300 replies on my post, and then I posted it in the bearish Discord as well, and it was insane the amount of people that reacted.
Oh yeah, man. We look, the best part about our community is like how active they are on X, and honestly how willing they are to meet other people in the community that share the same vibe. So hey man, definitely come into the Discord if you're new. Drop the bear, we'll raid it, get some new friends.
Yeah, I was on your spaces as well at one point. I can't remember who it was. It was one of the 3 founders on a space, and I was there for half an hour or so as well, and that was great.
Mr. Carl.
All very friendly people in your community.
Oh yeah, they're legends. That's for sure.
Did you just one shot that? Well, I guess.
Yeah, it got something up here. So if I'm not. Oh, let me open up the local host here. All right, so did something, right? So I don't know what this is here. This might be.
I think it's the round. That's the round. Like I don't know what that symbol is.
Okay, that's smart.
But yeah, we'll work on the styling.
All right, so we'll choose
you pick rock. Okay. So the computer picked paper and you got wrecked.
I lost. We got that logic. Let's click paper this time.
Oh,
I lost again. Look at that. So it's changing that. Great. And then scissors. And overall.
See, the thing is, if you lost 2 out of 3, though, it should end early. So now as you test, this is where you kind of look at the game loop and say, okay, well, obviously, if I lose 2 out of 3, the game should be over.
Yeah.
If I win 2 out of 3, the game should be over.
Well, let's do this. The logic is there. Okay. So that's working. We can, kind of configure these other things later.
Want to get abstract in there? Let's get abstract logic.
Yeah, let's get abstract in there. And so I think let's look at the implementation plan. Phase 2. Yeah. So by the way, that was, so phase 1 of the core game mechanics off chain. We got it basically 2-shot. Amazing. That's an accomplishment. So now if I go over to phase 2 wallet connection, install AGW and related dependencies, import, create a wrapper, connection flow, right? So implement the wallet connect button component, authentication, add connection status indicators, display connected wallet address, great. And then token interface.
Can you add to put it into the header? Add like a header component
to display this stuff?
Yeah, like in the header as a header component.
Okay.
Yeah.
Define NOOT token interface with ABI. What's ABI?
So that you don't need to worry about. ABI is actually kind of the definition of ERC20. So anyway, I think you can remove. I would remove that actually. Actually, well, okay, no, put it back, but put specifically ERC20 ABI. And then tell it to pull it from VM. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get to,
and then
Scotty
also put
chatbot. That's got all of your
Yeah, I know,
information uploaded.
say when you say set up contract interaction with using extend that by saying make it a React hook. That's all you need to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Implement balance checking functionality. Oh, by the way, side note, guys, for people watching the stream, by the way, welcome everybody. There's 42 of you. Good to have you. I hope you're learning something. I hope this is fun. We're trying to build a rock, paper, scissors game integrated with Newt itself. If something funny happens on the stream, clip the stream. You actually get experience, and I think quite a bit of experience for clipping. And I think you actually get paid too. I haven't done a lot of clipping myself, but people, are making hundreds of bucks just by clipping streams. So yeah, clip it, post it on Twitter. We'll repost stuff.
Yeah. Funnily enough, you're actually talking to Abstract's newest clipper right now. I just joined the program about an hour ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm going to be posting a few clips a day from I stream daily as well. I stream daily. I think it's probably like 2 p.m. Eastern time. I stream. I'm terrible at converting it from like Dubai time, but it's 2 p.m. Eastern, I think, maybe 1 p.m. Eastern that I stream at.
Nice.
Every day.
That's cool. Yeah, I've been wanting to start, a daily stream, and I actually wanted to start it this week, but a bunch of stuff is happening in the morning. I guess I am technically doing a daily stream right now.
You are doing a stream. You're doing a 45-minute stream with 50 viewers or so. It's pretty good. But why don't you come on my stream? You could come on anytime.
Sure.
Like I'm on every day. I do 2 collabs a day on stream. So
sure, absolutely.
Yeah. I'll ping you after.
Perfect. All right. So what we want to do is actually implement this AGW stuff. Okay. So, all right. Let's move forward with phase 2 of the implementation plan. Be sure to reference at AGW documentation to make this work.
One thing, and I don't know if your rules already do this, but what I typically have to do is tell it to make sure that it creates, what would we call this? I don't know. I call it component-driven design, but maybe I don't know what the best terminology here is. So, sometimes when you use AI, it kind of like doesn't factor the code very well. So you get like one file with thousands of lines of code. So I don't know if your rules already have it set up where it will break it down.
Yes, I do. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you don't have that rule, you'll want to add something where it breaks down things into components. There's 2 reasons for that. One is it simplifies how you look at it and readability. But 2, the one gotcha with AI now is that you need the AI to be able to read as much code as possible. And if you have too many tokens, or what they call tokens, i.e. too much text in a single file, it actually has a hard time navigating that. So it's much better to have components, smaller files, let's say under 200, 300 lines of code. That way that the AI can actually manage itself better. If you have files that are 2,000 lines of code, it tends to get confused. And it also takes a lot longer for it to regenerate everything. So
right. So I think the first rule that I have is actually that specifically.
Oh, it is? Okay. Yeah.
So when a file becomes too long, split it into smaller files.
Perfect.
When a function becomes too long, split it into smaller functions.
Yeah. And so this helps with what they call the context window of an AI.
Right.
Luckily, Gemini 2.5 now has 1 million or 2 million token context window. That's the largest context window for an AI. I don't know what Claude's is, but I know Gemini 2.5 Max Pro or Pro Max has the largest now. So
cool. So what I did here before we jumped into phase 2 is I have a rule called the rule generating agent. So this rule tells our agent how to create rules. Okay. And so I asked it to study the AGW documentation and create an AGW rule. Okay. And so it just did this. Right. And so this will be important because like it's not always going to be referencing the documentation. Right. And so like if you put these like guidelines, these like fences around it'll just like 10x your productivity.
This is great. You should add this to, we need like a repo that you just add these rules to, man. Like this is actually awesome. I didn't think about that. This is a good rule.
Yeah. Yeah, and this, it just automatically generated itself. So yeah, so okay, let's close out this tab. We're good here. There's a little bit of a weird like thing that happens sometimes with rules, where it like doesn't actually properly save it. So you have to like go in and like manually do it basically. Okay. So anyways, let's move forward to phase 2. Be sure to reference. Now I'm going to say best. Let's go abstract best practices. Where is this? Best practices rule. Oh, and AGW documentation to implement this. Send.
You know, it's one thing that I do that you don't do is I actually do you like do control enter ever to do the entire code base? Have you ever do you prompt it that way? So it looks like you prompt very specifically with files. I actually sometimes, if I'm just kind of vibing like only and not worrying about too much of the code, I'll just let it look at the entire code base.
So you,
but I thought
you
you
like
had to, I thought you had to click control enter for that.
Well, I actually, so when I
automatically do that.
Yeah, I think mine, well, I'm not sure. I think with like Max, it does do it all, right? So Max, intelligence, context, and thinking. But if I just start a new tab, if I am typing and I hit enter, it'll send. But if I do, oh yeah, shift enter. But if I do command enter, you're saying that is different?
Yeah, well, at least for me, I mean, for me, and maybe this is something different now, because I know Cursor did an update, so maybe because I know they actually changed it from whatever it was 2 weeks ago to agent ask manual, so maybe it's different now.
Right. Yeah.
It might not be for agent. For agent, it's probably the entire code base by default. I think maybe because I typically use manual mode more than agent mode.
Yeah. I don't know if it actually like, I mean, let's see here. So I can add stuff here, right? Code, files, and folders.
Yeah.
You can actually have it like look at a website too, like a specific website. There isn't like a whole code base thing. Although
I mean, for example, if you go to source, right? If you go to source, if you open the source folder on the left hand side, and you just right click on a file, so open up any of these, doesn't really matter. Just for open up like right click on that. Like it should say add files to cursor chat in the middle there.
Oh, I see. Got it.
So you can actually add specific files. Now, I don't do this often unless I'm really having issues with the prompt where it's like getting confused and I need it to implement something very specifically. Then I might call out specific files.
Got it.
But that's a good, yeah. I think for agent mode, for agent mode, I do think it just works across the code base. Yeah. When you're using manual mode or ask mode, then I think you do need to be way more specific with files.
Right. And you could also tag the files in the chat itself at main.tsx, and it'll include it up here.
Yep.
The one cool thing, Scotty, I found this extension that lets you literally copy all the contents of a folder or a folder into your clipboard as a text file. So I can right click. Oh,
that's awesome.
Copy folder contents and structure to clipboard.
Yeah.
And it's a big file, obviously, but like now I can take this and go over to, let's just go over to like
One Pro or something.
Yeah, let's go over to like Claude or something. Yeah, to 01 Pro and say, what does this code do? Yeah. Boom, paste it in. It'll have the directory structure. And then just all the files.
Yeah, can you send me? I don't use that. That's cool. I actually do this manually, so this would save me like quite literally 30 minutes.
Yeah, I used to. I used to have it code a script for me to execute that will export everything, but it got kind of annoying. So let me find that.
Yep.
Here it is. VS copy contents to clipboard is what it's called. So I'll put that in the abstract chat here. One sec. Yes, copy contents to clipboard. All right, so that's in the stream chat. Let's see how we're doing. Hopefully it's not fucking anything up. Okay. This would be crazy if this actually did this one shot. Would be insane. So basically what we're doing right now is this next phase, right? So we have the core game logic, which is awesome. Basically two-shotted that. Now we're making it so you can connect your abstract wallet and it'll display your Newt balance, your connected wallet, and yeah, let you, I think log out and stuff. Let me just go through some of these chats here.
Absolutely cooking.
Cooking.
It's incredible. It's incredible how much you can get done in half an hour.
Right.
With this software.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah, we'll probably go over. Hold on, let me check my calendar. See if I'm not missing something. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Let's see if we can finish this. All right, so this told us that we successfully implemented this. All right, I doubt it, but we'll see. So we got AGW integration, a connection flow, and a token interface to show your token, implementing balance check. Due to some compatibility issues between the AGW library and our project, we've implemented a more simplified wallet connection approach using standard WAGMI hooks. In a production environment, you would want to update the AGW to use the latest version of all libraries. Okay, let's take a look. Connect your wallet. That's going to MetaMask. We don't want to go to MetaMask.
Let's go look at what it did.
Okay. Let me just see if there's any errors for us to play with.
Yeah,
nope.
it should be pulling up the. Let's look at what the abstract global wallet implementation looks like real quick.
Okay.
Go to the So one thing, yeah. So like I already see a couple issues here. Well, one, you didn't accept all the code, by the way.
Oh no, it automatically accepts it all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is using mainnet when it should be using abstract. There's one issue that I just saw immediately. I don't think it properly is using the AGW integration. So yeah, that's not gonna work. It's not calling AGW or
Okay.
abstract.
Well, let's do this.
So, yeah.
Let's not look at the code. Let's see if we can solve it.
Yeah, okay, let's fix it the other way. Yeah, you're right.
All right, we successfully implemented phase 2 of the plan, but when I click connect wallet, it is not it is not taking me to abstract AGW to connect. It's opening up another wallet provider. We need to be taken to AGW to log in. How's that sound?
I mean, yeah, it sounds good. I already see what the issue is, by the way. Yeah. So let's.
Should I paste in the errors that I found in the log, or
yeah, that works too.
Console log errors. Yeah, this is very helpful to have you here, Scotty, because I've actually never done anything on chain, just off chain stuff. But if this, I'm personally learning a lot here, so this is great.
Yeah, so like just from the dev side, like, and again, if you use V0, I don't think you have these problems because Carlo was able to implement, this integration very quickly without having to debug it. But if I were to look at even just the code you have right now, like just as a dev that done this, well, one, it's using the wrong chain. It's actually using Ethereum mainnet. You'll see that at line 11, it's using mainnet, and that actually should be abstract. So I hope it changes that to abstract for one. And then two, if you go to the wallet provider, okay, yeah, so here we go. Now it changed.
Figured out.
Now it's correct.
Yeah, so this figured out, it looked at our rules, and our rules actually specified to use WAGMI.
Yep.
Right? And it knows that we need to integrate AGW instead.
Yep.
Right. So then, it went to update that. And after this is done, I'm actually going to have it update our rule file for the future.
Yeah. So now it's using the correct. Actually, it's still using mainnet. It actually should be using abstract, but hopefully it figures that out.
Got it. Abstract testnet. Oh, abstract mainnet is what it should be using.
I think it's just called abstract, but yeah.
Got it.
I would say if it doesn't work, then hopefully it fixes that though. Yeah. So I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, like me personally, I would make it use WAGME, but in this case, it's fine.
Got it.
For demo purposes.
So if this completes and we successfully do a rock, paper, scissors thing, okay, yeah, let's just see what happened here. So let's go back to arc, refresh. Okay, so that's not loading. So we got chain 1 not supported.
Right. That's because it's yeah. So take that error. Yeah, just take this. Well, you're taking too many errors. It's all the same error.
Oh, I see.
So take one of those. And so this is again the issue with mainnet versus. I think it will fix it. So yeah, if you just copy that error in, it will probably. Wait, that's not this. That wasn't the right error.
Sure.
You copied. Yeah, you didn't copy the right one. Or
Oh,
it actually used the old one that you copied, I guess is what else.
should I take these two?
No, take the bottom one.
Okay. Even though this component one had an error too?
That will be resolved with the bottom one.
Got it. Okay. So if I do this, copy, uncaught error.
Yeah, so basically what's happening is, it's using mainnet, which is ETH, but it should be using abstract. So hopefully it identifies this and changes that.
Okay.
But yeah,
So
we won't give it that context because obviously only a developer would see that.
Yeah.
So we'll pretend like, it was just like, the typical flow.
There's a couple of ways to debug. There's basically 3 ways. You can continue in this chat and, it'll have the context of everything. You can start a new chat, which I actually see a lot more success in personally. But I've seen somebody actually mention that instead of starting a new chat or staying in the same chat, you actually go back, you restore, and
try again.
And you adjust the initial prompt.
Oh, that's not a bad way to do it. That's not a bad way to do it either.
Should we try that?
Well, did you already hit it? Let's just try this first because I think
cool.
this will actually fix it. But yes, I actually think that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
To go back. One, it resets everything.
Right.
And then you can, I think that actually is pretty good
Yeah,
idea.
add more information, so it, can triangulate the problem a little bit better.
Yep. There we go. So now it actually changed it to testnet at least. That's a good start.
We don't want to
you-
be using testnet because I don't have any testnet tokens. We want to be playing with mainnet, right?
Okay, so tell it to use abstract directly. That's fine. It actually told you at the end when you want to go to production, you would use abstract. So let's just say let's go to production.
There you go. Perfect.
Now it's correct.
Okay. Well, that actually did that delete it? Oh yeah,
No, just replace mainnet with abstract.
Perfect. Amazing. Okay. Let's give it a shot. I'm a little nervous. Connect wallet. Oh shit. Let's go.
There we go.
Let's go. Approve.
Yeah.
All right. So now
you're connected.
I'm connected.
Yeah, so let's make it one, I don't know why it got rid of your UI. So let's say something like add the connected wallet address for display next to the button. And then say add, adjust the UI so it's a more game-like UI.
Well, and actually the game isn't even showing. I can't.
Oh, it says game will be displayed here. All right. Yeah, add back the game. So basically, yeah. So yeah.
Connected wallet info.
Add back in the game interface.
And show the game interface. It didn't show after I connected.
Yep.
Also, I'm gonna ask it to just make the design prettier,
Yeah.
centered and stuff. Oh, and one more thing. I don't know if this matters, but like it'll automatically tag the file that you have open,
Yeah,
which is
don't
pretty
use that.
annoying.
Yeah, don't do that one.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed lately was that. So I'm just gonna do this, and then it'll do the context of everything.
Yep. Yeah, that's actually why I hit Control Enter, because usually it ignores that. But maybe that was that might be an old pattern.
Right.
I think now you have to be on agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically what happened there, and this is again goes back to maybe that restore checkpoint and then redo your prompt. When you actually asked it to complete phase 2, it actually almost left out your initial phase 1 stuff. So that was something that was kind of weird. What I mean is it replaced, it did the phase 2, but then it removed the game.
Right.
So
I think
like
I think what we should have done after it completed phase 1 successfully is actually have it update this doc.
Yeah.
With
say that it was completed.
the information of what we just did, what's completed, etc.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And in fact, I might actually do that. Yeah, actually, let me do that right now. I'm going to open up a new chat.
But I mean, what you finished for it was cool. Well, one, we proved the game loop, and that took 5 minutes, 10 minutes,
right?
And then took another 10 minutes to add the AGW support without having the context of being a dev, because you didn't prompt it any way that I would have prompted. You did it your way,
right?
And yeah, all that's working. Now we just need to get the game back in there,
right?
And hopefully, I think this will one shot it again, because it's already did it the first time.
Yeah.
And then the next piece will be, integrating the Newt call, and you already created the hook for it. I think it already exists under hooks. Actually, yeah.
It wasn't showing the Newt balance, right? So it's not successfully showing the Newt balance just yet. I know it's still working here, but maybe, I mean, hopefully it'll show it.
Yep. Can you go to hooks real quick? I just want to see what the code looks like. Yeah, go to hook on the left-hand side. I just want to see what the code looks like. So go to use wallet. So this is basically what is being, so it's using ERC20. Can you so if you go to the left-hand side of that, like line 7, and there's like an arrow, just click that arrow, to condense it down. All right, so this is the thing. The thing that it's missing is that, and why this won't work, it doesn't have the proper Newt address. And so this is the kind of stuff that you need to feed it. So it's actually also assuming that you're eventually going to have a on-chain game, which you will if you create a smart contract. So let's get the NOOT token address and put that in there.
Can you grab that for us, Archer?
Yep, I can get it for you.
And Scotty, can you give me your wallet address, and I'll have it.
Send it over there. Okay, yeah, okay, we can do that. I'll send it.
Because I'm going to be testing with mine.
You're going to send it to Bearish. I sent you in the private chat the Bearish deploy.
But it needs to be AGW, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I can. Yeah, we can do an AGW.
Yeah, let's do AGW, so I can easily show it on screen.
Well, wait. let's use your AGW as the deposit address.
But I'm also testing with my AGW.
Oh, you're testing with your AGW. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get you.
There's the NOOT CA in the chat.
Perfect.
Wait, Archer, let's use yours. Let's use your AGW. Then we'll pay you back, Newt.
No, well, this is receiving wagers, right? So this
is that's the deposit address. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So
eventually, this will be a smart contract. So like this in an actual implementation would be a smart contract that takes in money, and then when either a server tells it that a game was completed, it would send back the money. Or if it was fully on chain, because you could actually create a smart contract for rock, paper, scissors that is fully on chain, then it would just work automatically. That would be how you get featured on the portal, is if you actually create a smart contract with the rock, paper, scissors implementation on it. I think you could still get featured on the portal if it's not fully on chain, but that would be like a really cool.
Yeah. Scotty, what's your AGW wallet?
Let me get it. Sorry.
And yeah, so typically, like, so we're looking at the code here, like a little bit more like a pro. But typically, like personally, I would just like use the chat and I would say, oh, okay. Just update the Newt address to this and the receiving address to something else.
I sent you it in the chat.
Perfect. Okay, send it to this and send, and you'll see that it'll probably know to go here. Let me just undo these changes.
I think one of the coolest parts about vibe coding in general is like if you do know a dev, like totally could use, like I'm sitting here just spinning my spinner. He's telling me what the issues are. I'm looking at what he's doing, and like I can actually just help him without even like doing anything, which is fun for me because we can still get to the end result that we want, and it's all him doing it. And if there's like little bugs that come up, I can kind of call it out. But yeah, I think that's like super. So if you know a dev that's not even like that experienced, they don't have to be for this kind of stuff, honestly. But it can help a little bit if you have somebody. Look at you. You got some Newt.
Look at this.
That's
Okay,
Newt,
before
baby.
Yeah, this is on my Newt. This is amazing. I mean, especially thanks to what Archer sent. All right, so we got something big here. It doesn't look pretty, but we have like, we connected our wallet. Yeah, we got the rails. We connected our wallet. It shows our Newt. I don't want to play with this logic. I don't want to play this game until it fixes the UI because it broke it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that. Yeah, so I'm gonna screenshot this. I don't want to treat ourselves to a victory until like it's aesthetically pleasing. All right. We broke our UI when we implemented phase 2 of our implementation plan. Fix the UI so the game.
Can we try something?
Sure.
This is going to be. I know that this might extend a little bit of time here. I don't know how much time you have.
I mean, we're already
like
over.
Oh, okay, we're already over. I think it'll take 15 minutes, but I'd love to use ChatGPT for image generation, and try to create a UI that you actually paste into here and see if it works. 'Cause I actually haven't got to try that yet. I'd love to try it now. So the idea would be something like this: go to like Paint, or whatever you use to draw something, and quite literally hand draw a low fidelity UI layout. So like quite literally use a pencil and just draw what you imagine the layout would look like.
Okay.
I've also given you a full like sort of art.
Oh, you got some art?
Breakdown in the group chat we have.
Okay, let me see. Ooh, that's fun.
That's the kind of asset you could use. Like the Telegram channel is just every bit of art we've got.
Yeah, we gotta throw that in there. Actually, we can use this in ChatGPT image as well. That's actually part of what I want to try out. Oh yeah, don't reveal all your secrets, bro.
Yeah,
Everybody's gonna clip. Oh my God.
It has all our deal making in there, dude. You can't.
This
can't
is
reveal all our
the funnel to
secrets.
Scotty's paid course.
Yeah, so that could be a header. Maybe have the connect button in the right hand side, and you can make it as crude as you want because I'm interested to see how kind of interesting it makes it.
All right, so I mean, I'm not really in like creative mode right now.
No, like quite literally draw a box, dude. Like I think ChatGPT will actually do. Yeah, quite literally draw a box. Draw another box that has like just like this will be where the rock paper scissors show. I mean, it'd probably be helpful to have text as well, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like a
text? Yeah, so wait.
But it can be super crude. Like make it super crude. Because I think you'll be surprised by how it takes just this simple layout and actually create something for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm truly not in a creative mode right now, to really think through this. But if you want to like draft something up on your end, I'm actually going to take our code and I'm going to see if it can just like make something for us. Just like be creative for us.
All right, here, I'll try something on the side here.
So I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, so we built an on-chain rock, paper, scissors game and need ideas for the UI. Here is our current code base in case it's helpful. Let's see what happens. Just gonna have it just create the image. Okay, so we'll see what happens there. In the meantime, I'm just gonna have this do something for us. Worst case, I can revert. Attached is how it looks right now. Bad. Oops. We broke our. I hope this is fun for you guys to watch and learn. People in the chat. Hope this is interesting. I mean, there's 46 of these, so there's you got to be getting some value out of it.
Yeah,
we're creating a game for Newt.
People are hanging around, aren't they?
Yeah.
No wonder.
They want to see us fail.
They want to see a downfall.
Yeah, no, this failed miserably.
Wait, is that using the updated version?
Yeah, this is 4.0. Let me just,
Wait, you need to use 4.0 with the image, right?
yeah.
Oh, you're just doing. Oh, you need to use 01 Pro for that kind of thing. I think.
01 Pro doesn't have the new image in.
Yeah, sorry. So if it's text only, without any image references, then you use 01 Pro. But if you have image references, then you use the updated 04 or 4.0.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to actually pop this in. Give me a mockup idea for on-chain block research game. Here are the details. And I'm going to switch over to create image and see what happens. All right. In the meantime, this is trying to fix our UI. I'll be right back for a quick restroom break.
Sure.
Nice. How are things going at Bearish in general then? Tell me.
Doing well, man. I mean, I would say we have a lot going on behind the scenes that we haven't announced. Like we all, like every project should do, add that speculative value. But yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of partnerships that we're working through. Obviously happy that we were working with Newt, and kind of hope to see you guys moon even more.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you already added an impressive market cap, but I
think there's a
room
lot of kind of shared growth on abstract. Like when the NFTs pump, the memes also pump it. It all happens in sync, probably, as you know.
Yep.
So I'm very hopeful that soon the macro market will turn around a bit. We'll get some better performance on ETH. Fingers crossed. It's been a bit, draining the last week or two, watching ETH just grind down. But I think it will turn around. We should be near what I'd call a generational bottom. And then hopefully we can uptrend and abstract can really take off as well. I think this period, though, is very good. It provides, a base for projects, lets you lay the foundations for an extra period of time. Because if on day one abstract just started to rocket, then we wouldn't have this period where we can build the community, where we can, lay the foundations. And it's actually, you can find good things to do right now, like networking, like seminars like this.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, 100% agree. That picture looks pretty good, totally. I also sent one in the Telegram. And I actually like yours better, to be honest. I'm interested to see if it can take this image and turn it into some magic here.
All right, so let me just do.
You know what? One thing I think there's something missing. Also, I think the Tailwind configuration isn't set up correctly.
Yeah, I think so too, because it was working fine before, but then now it's not.
Yeah, can you go to the? Can you just go to app.tsx real quick? I know that you probably want to just, but if you scroll down, yeah. So a lot of this styling isn't being applied. I can already tell because this is saying it has borders and stuff, and it doesn't show that. So I would say there's something wrong with the Tailwind config. Probably, maybe just tell it to fix Tailwind config. But if you go to tailwindconfig.js right there at the end, I can probably figure it out.
Yeah, it's not going to the source folder. Yeah, it's pulling this
No,
one.
that's correct as well. That's actually correct. Source is actually correct too. That actually looks fine, but it's missing the post CSS. Okay, yeah, it's adding it. Yeah, okay, so it's adding it now.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, now it should work. I don't know why it left that out. That's kind of weird. Usually that's part of the Tailwind setup. Yeah, so it's restarting it. Why did it add Bootstrap? What?
Oh,
Okay.
did I ask for Bootstrap? Did I? I may have. Did I put
using Bootstrap?
I did add a Bootstrap here.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that.
Yeah, let's cancel that.
Don't use Bootstrap. That's like old school.
Yeah.
Tailwind does everything that Bootstrap does.
Okay, let me fix that.
I'll just spin my spinner.
So one thing about like restoring checkpoints is it doesn't actually always delete the files. You see, like it's got.
That's annoying.
Yeah, that is annoying.
Well, you're gonna need post CSS config, to be honest. So
okay, gotcha.
That's probably gonna be fine. But yeah, I actually know what you're saying. Sometimes if you add in additional components or you refactor, it doesn't delete everything, right. And then you kind of have a mess.
There's one thing that I completely forgot to do, which I still forget nowadays, is committing stuff to GitHub, right? Like,
yeah,
like every time you get your app to a solid place, commit it.
Yeah, because then you can actually backtrack easier. That's the same thing as restore checkpoint, but it's way safer.
Way safer, because restore checkpoint doesn't always do things properly.
Yeah. Another day, another lesson.
Yep. All right, let's
How
give
long
this
have we
a
been
shot.
going here? An hour? I think we're at the hour mark. Oh, that's a lot nicer.
I know, we've been going for an hour and a half.
Well, I mean, when we actually started doing the actual thing. Bit different.
Oh, let's go.
Hey, let's
this
go.
Is great. Okay.
There we go.
Amazing.
Look at that. That's sexy. Okay. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
You're cooking.
Got the animations.
Hot.
Rock. Shot of that.
I win. Paper.
Nice.
I lose. Scissors. I win. I earn 10 XP. Okay. Now we got to see about losing.
Okay. Draw. Win. Lose.
Match draw.
Okay. Match draw.
Okay.
So it still didn't do the. Oh, you didn't add the logic for that. You didn't actually tell it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, we skipped that part.
This looks great though. Look at that.
Yeah, that's cool. That looks so nice.
It's almost like production ready. Okay. Wagering implementation. Perfect. Implement NOOT token approval flow. Create approval status indicators. Develop transaction status notifications. Okay, let's give this a shot. This would be crazy if we actually got
one shot phase 3. Yes, let's one shot phase 3, baby.
So let's do this. Let's commit our code, push it, and also update our implementation plan with everything we've done, as well as necessary details for us to reference for future phases. Boom.
Wow. Amazing.
Look at that.
What an absolute cook.
And honestly, we've been kind of chilling as we've been doing this. It's not like we've...
It's not like you've been sweating at all. You're not stressing, are you? You're just relaxing.
And now we're vibing, baby.
We're barely using our brains.
Totally could have been on the beach with a coconut doing this. You know?
Exactly.
That's pretty much how I work now. I just lounge around and tell AI to... No, I actually don't do that.
That's how it should be. You know, it should be fun.
We didn't even give it this reference, did we? It just did it by itself, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to do a couple things. We use emojis heavily throughout. Use that primarily, but also recreate this image somewhere as well.
I mean, there is something interesting here too. there actually is an interesting game mechanic to use Newt as a sink here and replace it with an off-chain currency that could be used in raffles and such. So like, for example, the game might need Newt to play, but maybe what you win is XP, which is off-chain. And then you could go to a store and use the XP and buy NFTs and whatever you want there. So that way Newt is actually a real sink versus something that's recycled. That's actually kind of interesting. Another way you could make Newt work a little bit better here as a sink is, there's a rake of 10%, and 10% of Newt every game would be burned. That would probably be cooler. But yeah, there's a couple ways you could make this where it's an actual token sink versus just a recycled token thing.
Yeah, kind of like how
get this,
Gotcha does it. Like kind of how like Gotcha game does it. Like you always win something, right? Sometimes it's more valuable than others.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, so this updated our implementation plan with the file structure, which is great. Tech stack, right? Bam, bam, bam. Phase 1, 80% complete. I'm not sure what that means, but what did we not complete? A local storage for game data.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Excuse me. Phase 2, where is that? Phase 2, 50% complete.
We do have a hard stop in 30 minutes, by the way. Just
right.
I know we're over, but
okay. Yeah, let's see if we can get Newt working here with phase 3.
Yeah, I'd love to see the wagering aspects because one, I think it's going to do two things. And with AGW, this is going to be a nicer UI, like because you could actually use session keys and you can do batch transactions for the approval and the send. But I think the first implementation here will probably be not the ideal UX, but again, this is just like a quick implementation.
Right. Good question from somebody in chat. Did you guys use GitHub MCP for Cursor? I think so.
It's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea to do that. You can import that server.
No, I do Supabase, and
you could add that. You could find that server like a GitHub integration.
Yeah, I can. I think I do actually have GitHub integrated somewhere.
You probably just have it in Cursor, no?
Yeah, I mean, Cursor already has access to all of the
extension. You have the GitHub extension.
Right, I have the GitHub extension, right?
But again, the agent needs to interact with that. So the MCP is how the agent interacts with it. So
right, exactly.
Yeah,
I started playing with MCP over the weekend. It's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of potential.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the GitHub
everything will be an MCP. Like every API integration that you can think of, AGW will have its own. Like if people in the abstract ecosystem start building MCPs for abstract specific tooling,
right,
that will make stuff like this even easier. You won't have to set up the docs, for example. Like you could add the MCP server that knows about AGW and the agent can ask it questions to know how to implement something.
Can you just create an MCP with public documentation or no?
Yeah, I think that's how you would create it. I think that's how you'd create the MCP.
Abstract doesn't really have an API, right? They just have documentation.
No, but for example, if you wanted to integrate into the abstract portal streams, and you wanted to get the chat data in live chat data, for example, you could create an MCP that's specifically focused on how to get the live chat data,
right?
Or integrate an agent to get the live chat data out of a stream.
Well, that's
something I'll look at. Yeah, that's something that maybe I'll do.
Yeah, and we need one for drip too.
Yeah, true.
All right, so yeah, I mean, if we get this wagering, this could actually be live and people could be playing it. I don't know if we have time, we'll deploy it and let people actually play it.
Can do that.
I just love how ChatGPT did this. Wait, what did they? Oh, did it?
Wait, I sent you the picture of what it generated me in Telegram real quick.
TG. Okay, one sec.
Yeah, TG. Don't share all your details.
All the deets. Hold up. Let me. Well, there's nothing. I mean, that's between Archer and I. Okay, so here it is. Newt Wars. Okay, save as. Newt UI. Newt Splat Waddle. Oh.
Well, you can get that. That's irrelevant. I just wanted you to share the picture because it has the Newt penguin. Actually, I don't know if that's the Newt penguin. Is it? Yeah, I think it is actually. The pengu. Pingu.
Newt Splat Waddle.
But this is a good mobile version.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
It'd be funny if the Newt actually, if you hit slap or splat or waddle, it actually did the action. So Archer, we need a 3D model, man.
We'll need to get it soon. We'll get it very soon.
Yeah, get us that 3D model, and we're gonna make it do some funny stuff like emote.
This could be the start of a great hackathon entry.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
we could. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for doing it. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really appreciate it.
Bro. Yeah, if you got to run, you can run.
No, I'm staying to the end.
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
We're just chilling.
I just wanted to say cheers. Thanks for doing it. It's been great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get one. If you wanted to give us a bit more background why this is thinking on the hackathon, like how long it lasts, maybe some examples. I don't know if you've thought of any examples that you actually want to see from a game. What are your thoughts there?
Examples from a game, there's so many. The main thing we would like it to be is very consumer friendly. So we'd like it to be so, a kid could pick it up and play it, or someone middle-aged or someone old could pick it up and play it. So it needs to be very consumer friendly is the key thing. And that makes it great for the abstract portal. If, your average consumer can easily play it, that's the key thing. In terms of the hackathon, there's about, I think it's 3 weeks left, which is plenty of time. As you know, you can do it in 2 days, you said. So I'm not a vibe coding expert, but I didn't realize it was that quick. I thought it'd maybe take them a week or so to put a full game together.
I think you want to refine it. You want to add in like the cool game. Like for example, this base version, I'd want to make it way more Newt themed. I'd want it to have like very Newt specific language. Maybe add in the animations. But yeah, I mean, I think getting the core game loop is important. I mean, look at this. This is like already doing some magic here.
Wait, hold on.
Did you already send me Newt?
I don't know. Okay, so yeah, so when I hit approve wager.
Wait, hold on. Move the right side. Move the right side of the screen out if you can.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's blocked. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Newt Wars. Yeah, there you go. So I'm gonna wager 1. I'm gonna copy this balance. Okay. I'm gonna approve wager. Typically that should go to abstract to approve, right?
Yes. So I'm interested to see what happened there.
Okay. Then if I go rock, lose, win, lose, you lost 1 Newt has been wagered, and it says trend. Oh yeah. So that wasn't correct. Like it.
I don't think it's so yeah, it might not be sending. It's just kind of doing the flow. Because that transaction hash is not correct either.
Correct.
So let's make it so 1. You should actually be also sending the Newt before the game starts, right? So you should have a transaction.
No. Isn't it? Are you sure it's like that? I mean, shouldn't it just pull from my wallet on lose? No.
So if you have a smart contract, you can do that. I think the way that this would actually work, like on a real on-chain version, is that there would be an escrow, and so you would basically say you want to wager 10, you approve, and honestly, you'd only want to approve once. Like you'd want to approve probably a larger amount, let's say, I don't know, 1 million Newt, and then you don't have to hit approve every time. And so you would actually put the Newt into an escrow contract, and then that would have the game logic in there, and then it would distribute based on the outcome. So you actually always want to take the money up front, because there's no other way, because otherwise you can game it, right? So that's why there's always an escrow for this kind of stuff. The real on-chain version would have that. For this is just proof of concept.
Got it.
But the real on-chain version,
would have be like a storage. Yeah, storage for that. Gotcha. Okay, so we just set up. All right, so we basically need to actually have it approve.
Yeah.
And
so
actually,
let's
tell that amount for wagering, right?
Yeah.
So just in that session, I want to wager 10. It'll approve 10 to pull from my wallet, and upon losing, it'll pull it. And
no, you want to do. Yeah, I would say you want to send it up front. So like again, like you don't want it to happen at the end of the outcome, because
what's the simplest implementation? Because we got 20 minutes.
The simplest implementation is that you don't need to approve at all. It just sends the token to the address, because actually token approval only requires smart contracts involved. You don't need to have a token approval to send to a wallet. So I would say you can actually remove.
Well, I mean, because like the app itself, it's pulling from my wallet, right? So don't I need to like?
No, it's not. That's not how it would work.
Okay.
I mean, it works. If you have a real smart contract, you would need to approve the token because you're sending it. Because the smart contract itself has logic that says, I want to transfer this amount of Newt from you to the smart contract. Now, what we'd have instead for this simple version is that I'm just transferring the Newt myself from my wallet to a deposit address. So there's no smart contract involved there. It's actually just a transfer. So you
But
can
then,
actually remove the whole token approval process. It's
but
actually not required.
but like, I mean, like let's talk through this because like what you're saying is okay. So I want to wager 10 before I start the game. It'll take 10 from me and put it in the deposit address. Okay, but
Correct.
what if I win? Does it have to send it back?
Mhm.
So
I'm saying that's the logic that we're not implementing because a smart contract would do that, and we're not implementing a smart contract here. The real implementation would require token approval plus the transfer plus the
got it.
the transfer back after you win.
Mm,
Because you'd have, so basically the smart contract would be like a bank, right? It would be the Newt bank, and you would deposit in 10, and if you won, you'd get 20 back. Like that's how it would work. If we were to set up an AI that was the house, if you will, then we would create a smart contract that had a bank,
but
and you would put money against that.
but we don't have your wallet approved to send stuff from.
Right, we're not implementing the second piece. So I guess what I'm saying is that I just wanted to show the direct transfer to my wallet and show that I got the Newt. But in a real implementation of this, there'd actually be a smart contract involved. We're just not doing the smart contract piece. So we're skipping over the smart contract piece.
Yeah. So how can we I mean, to me, like it makes sense. Like when I set the wager 10, like it's not doing anything until after the game is over.
Yeah, but you can't do it that way.
If I win, I keep that. If I lose,
you can't do it that
way. Send it.
Right.
No?
The reason you can't do it that way is because that's going to be gamed. So you always need to take the money up front. Like there's no scenario where you can't take the money up front.
Okay. Is there a way to
approve
your wallet to send any amount of Newt?
No, because what will I mean, you have to approve it, but what again, that's going to be gamed. So what will happen is something like this. I can approve the smart contract to take 100 Newt, but if I see that I'm about to lose, then I will either revoke it or I'll just remove the Newt from my wallet so that you can't take it. So basically, there will be a scenario where I will always win.
But in this case, like say we implement, like if you lose twice in a row, it's immediately over.
Yeah,
right.
No, that would get gamed.
But how would you game that?
Because I would write a script that can game that. Like I would see if I'm going to lose, and then
I see. So you can just like revoke, right?
Yeah,
on the abstract end, and then just play, and then gotcha.
Whatever implement, like there is no scenario basically in any on-chain game where you cannot give it the money first. That just doesn't work. Like you always have to put it into escrow first.
Okay. So
otherwise a bot or something will front run you, or you can look at the UI and see the outcome, and then you will never have to pay. That's why you always have to take the money up front.
So that makes sense. So what do we want to do here?
Yeah, so I think for this, all we're doing is almost like that example where I said someone's sending us Newt and it's going to a deposit address, and all they're receiving is actually XP. And maybe the XP is now used elsewhere. So what we're actually doing is more like a deposit system versus. I'm not saying that's what we really want. I'm saying for this simple implementation, that's what we're doing. Because that's actually how a lot of crypto casinos work, by the way. The crypto casinos work by, I take my abstract ETH or ETH, I deposit it, they give me USD credits, and then you use it in the games, right? That's exactly how crypto casinos work. Really what's happening is when you deposit your ETH, they're looking at the USD value at the time and just crediting you off-chain. I mean, that's how these systems work. Now, if it's a fully on-chain game, you would have to deposit the ETH, and then every game interaction would require you to submit some signature or transaction unless you have session keys. So that's like, not a great UX, but with session keys, it makes it a little bit better. Anyway, so there's a lot of things to this. There's like a lot of nuances with the on-chain stuff. Yeah. I would say the most complicated things about on-chain is like what I just mentioned. Like you need to know where the security holes are. Like if you're not giving escrow, then that game is never going to work. You know, like I know that because I've done this for multiple years. But like somebody that hasn't built this stuff before isn't gonna really realize that until they get screwed. So that's
Gotcha.
why you're always gonna have someone, hopefully that's like a dev or the abstract team, looking at this implementation and be like, okay, well this is a security hole. That's why audits exist.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, what if we?
I would just say set up a transfer. Just say transfer the wager to the deposit address. That's all I would say, and I think it would actually do what you wanted.
Okay. So in this case, can we go with my method where, like nobody can play this except us? Can we go with my method of it actually taking on loss? Or is that going to fuck us up in the future?
I mean, for this, we can do it. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's
what
I'd like to.
Again, you can't do it. Again, it won't work in the real world, but it will work in this case. This is a proof of concept.
Sure. Okay.
So I think we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's how this planned it out initially is people connect their wallet and approve a specific amount to be used as wager. This approval allows the game contract to potentially transfer NOOT tokens when a game is lost.
Right.
Okay. All right. So.
Yeah. Again, the biggest issue here is that I can remove the tokens from my wallet before you take them.
Right.
Is the point. And,
sure, that makes sense.
And for example, I can actually always win because in this case, I can approve whatever amount. I literally can transfer all my NOOT out after it's approved, and if I win, I just win.
Got it.
If I lose, you get nothing because you can't take it. Okay. So like, there's a scenario where I always win.
Well, do we have a method do we have time to implement like your method, which is the actual secure method? Just because I think it would be super cool to actually have this be live out there for people to play and experiment and win and lose and
I think what we do is we build this out for the hackathon. I think we will we can even find some bearish fam to do this.
Okay.
And like we have this all on GitHub, we'll share it. And actually this could be a collaborative bearish project too. But yeah, maybe we do a real on-chain rock, paper, scissors, NOOT themed game. And that's our submission. I'd like to do it that way probably. Because we don't have we have a hard stop in 50 minutes, but also I think we have to do a smart contract for this to really, make it like nice.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So, I mean, should we put a pin in this for now? What do you think?
I think we can. I think we got to. I mean, the only thing that's not happening right now is that it's not sending the transaction. I mean, you could ask it to do the approval transaction. Go ahead and go to the code real quick.
Okay.
And just say, I want to implement the real approval transaction, just so you'll see the privy pop up, and then you'll see that it's actually approving, and then we can just skip the actual transfer part. But if you get the approval part, then all you need to attach onto that afterwards is the smart contract. And the smart contract will still take your funds. But yeah, so implement the approval transaction. I would say use, WAGME or AGW directly. I think it's not using WAGME anymore, so maybe.
I think it should actually be doing. Yeah, it's not using WAGME anymore. It's using AGW, and I believe our rules were updated with that.
Yeah, so just say use AGW send transaction. Obviously, this isn't like.
I want to see if it'll figure it out, without.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
When they approve, take them back to the game and initiate gameplay. Cool.
Yeah, I think that's
perfect. Fine. Cool. And one other thing, Piff actually sent me some pretty cool graphics of rock, paper, scissors.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna see about us actually implementing that.
Oh yeah, congrats to Piff for winning a track. Did you win a game track, or was it what did
Oh, we didn't have any tracks. Just
oh, no tracks. That's right.
Yeah, just a winner.
Yeah, match 3 is nice. I actually think like that's one of the first games. I like Party Poppers as well. I know that it's more of a kiddie game, but I like that one myself.
Tower Defense was awesome.
Oh yeah, Tower Defense is sick. Tower Defense was sick. That game was sick.
We want to use these images
Newt needs a tower defense game. That's for sure.
for sure.
I was a total like Clash Royale maxi, Clash of Clans
Yeah?
maxi back in the day.
Have you played Battle Cats?
No, not at all.
It's like a simpler version of Clash. With
I must have spent like a cumulative thousands of hours on Clash of Clans over like a decade, genuinely.
So this, I mean, I'm gonna age myself, but probably like 2010, I was playing this game called Ebony, and actually that it's evolved, but back in the day, it was like a I don't know, like a time-based builder, where you'd like build up your army and you could attack people at nighttime, and so like you'd always have to be online, but then it also take like 24 hours to build like a single building. I know they still have these kind of games, but I spent like ridiculous amount of money and time on those kind of games. Dumb, so dumb, so dumb.
Just when you start, when I start a game and I get into it, I like can't stop. You know, I need to like fully immerse myself into it.
Yeah, I'm also obsessive like that.
That's why I think we're pretty good at, you know, running crypto projects, because we just get obsessed with things and then stick to them for long periods of time every day.
Yeah, no matter how much torture there is.
I think it's so key though. Like it doesn't feel like a job to me. I don't know about you guys, but it really doesn't feel like a job every day.
No, I'm literally playing with a spinner right now.
Exactly. Like, it's not a job at all. It's just what you want to do.
There you go.
Hopefully you make some money from it.
But it's asking for all of my tokens.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, usually it does max. Like a lot of the time, you don't want to approve every single time, so you'll do like a max int. That's pretty common. I mean, MetaMask actually, or most sites now, I don't know if they still use the max. It used to be the common thing. You don't normally want to do that, but for this case, it's probably fine. Like in this case, okay, with AGW, this is what you get. With AGW, you get session keys, so you don't have to worry about, you know, hitting sign 10 times to play 10 games. Like with session keys, you only have to sign once, and you basically give a time of how long you want it to be able to approve for you. You could make it an hour, you could make it 30 minutes, you could make it 24 hours, you could even make it a week. And it can only interact specifically with the smart contracts that you tell it to. So there's things called policies. Anyway, like the whole AGW experience hasn't even been unlocked by a lot of projects yet. Some of them have tried to use session keys, but a lot of them haven't done it. Well, not they haven't done it correctly, but there's a lot of cool unlocks for user experience with AGW that you know, even bearish, we haven't got to really experiment with this stuff yet. Wait, can you click that transaction now? Is that actually real?
Yeah, I think it is.
That's the approval transaction, yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's approving the correct amount here.
So that's approving the max int. I mean, so like what you should be checking for, and actually you should prompt this real quick. Check if approvals are needed. You should just say check if token approvals are needed, because you actually don't need to approve every time.
I see what you're saying. Right. So yeah, so I basically say, hey, you can spend this much. There's no time limit. It's not like once it's transferred out that it's gone, whatever, right?
Exactly. And in this case, I basically just told you to allow the contract to take any amount of money that it wants. So this is also the way that drainers work. So when you sign a bad transaction, typically what's happening is that you're giving it approvals to take the max amount of money over your ETH or an ERC20. And this is actually the transaction that you're signing. You're signing approvals. So, and that's why, you know, if you're paying for something when you're logging in, immediately do not do that. That probably means you're getting screwed. So this is how drainers basically take all your money.
Okay, cool. All right. So what I'm asking is for it to display on the UI, you know, what the approval amount is. And so like if I do one, like wager one, I can always do one again and I don't have to go approve it. But if I want to do more, then yeah, that's what it'll do. So I also am having it update the UI.
Nice. Gave it some links.
Yep. Gave it some images. Those ones that Piff gave me. All right, so it looks like that's in there. So let's see what that looks like.
So you're already approved. So now you just need to set it. Yeah.
It's doing some reset. So it's not actually letting me start the game now. So I can't
because it's already approved.
And it's also still working here.
Oh, it's still working. Okay, gotcha.
Don't drain me, Scotty.
I haven't looked at chat once. I probably should have been there looking at chat to see if there was any questions.
All right, let's see what we got. Pop out terminal. All right, so 5173.
I mean, I think this also kind of highlights how easy to. So the one downside with all this advancement in building UIs and dApps and products like very quickly like this is now hackers can actually use this to create drainers and drainer apps a lot easier, which is kind of a sad reality. So you have to be a little bit more diligent, guys.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of bearish.
Yeah, that's a little bit bearish. Actually bearish. That's actually bearish.
Terrible joke. Terrible
those are fun.
joke. Cancel them.
Yeah.
Honestly.
These are fun. Oh, is that paper? That's funny. Wait, what did Rock look like? Was this his fist? Nice.
Looks great.
He has no finger. Wait, he has fingers and then no fingers, dude.
Oh no.
That's
All
hilarious.
right, so let's do this. We got to fix this. Use the images in the @icons folder. Because right now they're broken, but let's give this a shot. If you lose,
Samples.
win. Okay. Now it's not showing the transaction hash.
Well, there's not gonna be a transaction. I mean, there really isn't a transaction
That's
hash here
true.
outside because the approval already happened. So now, if you did want to do the transfer on lose, you could. Like you might as you should add that if you want.
Oh, there we go.
Nice,
We got the
that's
images. Let's go.
Oh, they're not in the the circles.
All right.
Funny.
So, yeah, and this is saying current allowance this much because I think. Wait, did I approve this much before?
Yeah, you approved that much before. So
Got
basically, it's checking your allowance. So you can revoke this and revoke. You know, if you wanted to revoke it, you could. But yeah, now you can basically wager whatever you wanted.
Got it.
All so right, let's try this. I want to see the actual transfer. I want to see your Newt balance go down and go to
right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So let's transfer it at the end. So let's transfer it at the end. So now add in the transfer at the end. Okay. Again, this isn't really how the real game would work. But
make it transfer the tokens to the receiving address. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
The reason why the approval doesn't make sense in this case, by the way, is that you would need to approve me or my address to take it, or you'd need to approve the smart contract to take it. But again, in every scenario, if I was actually trying to game the system, I would just transfer all my Newt out, and then there's no way you could take my Newt. Like I would just put it somewhere else.
Got it.
I'd start the game, not complete it, transfer everything out, and then basically have a free chance of winning Newt.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So while this is completing this last step for us, we'll push this up to GitHub and make it available for you guys. I think. I don't know. Do we make it available? I mean, if we're going to be, submitting.
Yeah, we'll go open source.
Let everybody play with it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Open source, rock, paper, scissors. And we did this in about hour and a half total, probably. If you recall, most important thing is the research, right? So imagine like the stuff that we've done here, right? This implementation plan, the cursor rules, connecting the documentation to just give all the pieces for the AI to be successful, right? And like for a lot of these things, it basically two-shotted it, right? Created something, there were some bugs, and we fixed the bugs, and it was great, and we pushed to GitHub. There's probably a lot that we can do to clean things up, and I usually like to, like when I want to take a break from building, just refactor stuff and see how we can make things just more efficient and smart. So
Yeah, and then if you're working on a team, the way that I would probably decide to do this, a lot of this work, especially if you have an on-chain integration, pick someone to do the UI, pick someone to do the smart contract, pick someone to do the back end. If you have 3 people, or if you have 2 people, split it up that way. Yeah, and if you have people that are not coders, maybe they're UI designers, tell them to go into image ChatGPT 4.0 and create a cool UI design just based on the image generation, and then that can be their contribution. I think there's a lot of cool ways to kind of have folks that are non-devs do coding, but also even if they don't want to do any AI coding, they can do more process stuff and use AI to do that. So I think that's a fun part of this too, is working with people if you can. I mean, individually it's cool too. You get more money maybe, but I think it's also fun to work with people.
all right, let's see if this worked.
You're not sharing, by the way. We're looking at the bearish landscape.
Oh shit. I wonder how long that's been going on.
No, just the last couple minutes.
Okay. Present. Share screen. Okay. So this completed this. So we'll see if it works. I'm actually going to just, I think we have like multiple instances running here. So I'm just going to shut these down. See if I have any running here. Should be good.
I mean, to get a fully, baked in on-chain interaction game in an hour and a half is pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy, right? From I mean, obviously like your expertise, has been helping here, but like I'm a non-dev, right? And so, this is my first time actually creating something on chain. All right, let's wager 5. I've already approved enough tokens for this wager. I wish there was a way to revoke it here.
We got a BOSU meeting.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, but I told him we'd be a couple minutes. We're ending the stream soon.
Gotcha. Okay, rock, draw. Okay, so we got the images now. Paper, lose.
Okay.
That's cool. And scissors.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
It's a transaction. Oh, now you're sending it to me. Yeah. So here you're sending 5 Newt. If you look at the 2 address, that's me. 43C907. Yep.
But isn't this I thought we were supposed to approve this before?
So this should actually, this should actually be a transfer. Yeah. So you're paying.
This should be automatically transferring, and on the back end, right?
That's not how it would work. No.
I see.
That's why I told you. Yeah, it wouldn't work that way.
Do we need a smart contract for it to be able to do that?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I need to specifically programmatically on my end take it from you with a script.
Right.
There isn't a way for you to, because you don't have access to my wallet. I mean.
Well, I thought I did. I thought that
you don't have access to my wallet for the approval now. You have access to send me money. You don't have access to tell me to send money. Take money.
Oh, like yours.
That's what the smart.
Yeah, like your receiver wallet.
This is what happened. You gave me access to 5 Newt. I still need to take your Newt. What would normally happen is the smart contract takes your Newt, right, and then gives it to me. Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay, so a smart contract in between is what is basically required here.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Or, I mean, I would say that's the better solution. There is another solution, which is I write something that takes it from you, but I would never do that because I have to manually transfer it. The smart contract automates that process.
Got it. Okay, cool. Maybe we can do that next time. Maybe even tomorrow. We'll see if we can create a smart contract to actually interface with this.
Yeah, I think we create a smart contract. And actually, did your Newt balance go down?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So I actually have it in my wallet. Let me see. Let me confirm. Let me refresh.
And then we actually got the transaction hash. I copied it before it switched over. But this is going to Ethereum. We got to go to AppScan, right?
Yeah, AppScan.
All right, let's go over here. Paste in the hash.
So that's half a hash. It's like missing some of the hash. Might not have been the actual hash.
Yeah, I think it was taking a wallet or something.
But it's all good. I think we accomplished a lot here. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna do this. Commit this to GitHub and update our implementation plan with everything we've Done. Boom. And I'll share our GitHub repository here. And actually, let me do one thing. Let me just take some screenshots because that's important too.
Yep.
Just, we can share this. Screenshot, start game. Oh, something is not running.
I think it's got it. I think it hit a. I think you have like an infinite loading issue.
Mm.
It says unresponsive, which generally means that created an infinite loop somewhere, or there's an error that's happening.
Okay, boom, start game. Take another picture. Boom, rock, paper, scissors. Transaction completed. Let's go. Oh, fuck. It's okay. It's all good. Yeah, we got some screenshots. All right. So do we push this yet? Git status didn't push it just yet.
I'm gonna hop into the BOSU meeting, but
Okay, cool.
I'll let
Is it on
them know
Discord?
you're wrapping up. Yeah, it's on Discord.
Okay,
Archer,
perfect.
nice to see you again. If you're streaming an hour, I might hop through.
Perfect. It'll be about 2 or 3 hours from now, probably 2.5 hours. I'll be streaming. So yeah, that'd
Sweet,
be
man.
great.
I'm excited for the Newt hackathon. Let's get build. When can people start? Can they start now?
Yeah, no, they can start
When's
now.
the
We
official?
started, officially started on the 5th of the month. So we're now.
Oh,
2
okay. I
days.
didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
So
My bad.
you have just under 3 weeks to go.
Let's get rocking. Let's get rocking, people.
Let's
Let's
go.
build
Very
this Newt
excited.
stuff.
Very excited to
some
see
Newt
everyone's
games.
entries, especially yours.
Let's rock and roll.
let's go.
Oh, you already saw half of our entry.
We saw half of it. Not the full thing though, not the finished product.
That's true. That's
I know
true.
what you're like.
Refinement. We're gonna go in
Perfection, so we get
refinement
polished
mode.
up. Yeah.
That's right. All right, I'll catch you later. See you, Toli.
Cheers. Thanks.
All right, see you guys.
That was great. Thank you.
Later. Yeah, we'll close this down. I'm going to share the GitHub URL. Probably just here in my bio. I'll send it over to you as well, Archer, so you can pass it around to whoever you need to. You guys can open that up, poke around, and see what see if there's anything useful for you. You can even import it into your own cursor and start playing with it. Cool. All right, y'all. Enjoy your Monday. We'll chat soon.